So hope you all of you can see my screen now. Please confirm once.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So but I'm moving ahead now. So last time what we did, we studied, I think, functions, different variety of functions that we can create, how to have multiple arguments, how to have multiple keyword arguments. Then we also discussed one of the issues of one of the participants who need to immediately find a solution to have files in the different directories. Okay, so we are moving ahead now to the scope of the variables. Next topic is scope of the variables. Understand this thing very well. Okay, suppose I'm creating a function, suppose def, and the function name is itself greet again. And for now, I'm not putting any argument. I'm not needing for any argument from the user. In that, I'm declaring a variable, let's say message. Okay, I'm declaring a message variable, and within that, I'm just giving one string, let's say a. Okay, just declaring one variable known as message, and the value of this variable is a. Okay, let me run this. Okay, now let's try to do one thing. Let me try to check what is the value of this message. Okay, let me try to check what is the value of this message, and you will see you'll find an error immediately. Okay, I found an error that name message is not defined, although we have defined it. But it is showing the name message is not defined. Actually understand where we have defined it. We have defined it inside the function. So once we define any function inside the message, it becomes local to that. It becomes a local variable. Means this variable will be known only inside this function. It will not be available outside. If we declare outside the scope of the function, for example, if I declare anything here, for example, I declare my name, and I'm not declaring inside the function, I'm mentioning here Praveer, right? And once I want to print it, it will be available because the scope of this variable is global. It is available in the entire program. Anywhere I can access it, anywhere, even inside my function also. For example, I'm using the same function again. Okay, using this, and I'm typing here print my name. Okay, I'm using already existed variable, which is a global variable here. I have not declared it inside the function. I've declared it outside, so it's a global variable. So let me run it. Done successfully. Now let me call this function that print. What should happen? It should print my name. That's it, without any problem, right? So we are able to use any global variable anywhere in the program. Okay, once it is declared outside the scope of function, means it is a global variable, then it can be used anywhere, whether in the normal flow of a program or inside a function as well. But if declare any any variable inside a function, if we declare any variable inside a function, it is local to that. I hope it is clear. So scope of the variable that is declared inside a function will stay local only to that function. And that is recommended also. Because it may be possible that we are working on a modular project. I am working on a module, you are working on a module, and we are creating some functions. It may be quite possible that we may choose the name of the variable to be same. Okay, I'm working on a different task altogether. You are working on a different task altogether. But it is, as we are not interacting, it may be quite possible that I select the same name of the variable as you are selecting. Okay, so if we are integrating that project once, I have completed, we are integrating them. And if we have used the same name of the variable, then there will be conflict. Right? There will be conflict. So to avoid this conflict, it's always better if we are declaring anything inside the function that should remain local only to that function. Okay, so is it clear? These variables are known as local variables. Why? Because their scope is inside the function only. But there are a way. I can declare a variable inside the function and I can make it global as well. I'll tell you that how to do that, but that is not recommended. I repeat once again, but that thing is not recommended. So what we get to know, if any variable normally is declared inside a function, its scope is limited to that function only. Is it clear, everyone? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Sir, what is the use of local variable?
Any means we can use this variable inside the function. We can use this variable inside the function. For example, I declared here message equal to a, but I wanted, suppose anything. Okay, it's up to me. Or suppose I want anything to do with this variable now. It's entirely my choice. Whatever I want. For example, I want to do print message multiply by 5. See what will happen. Okay, let me do that. And let me call this function greet. See what will happen. Can you see? It printed a 5 times because I take up a string, multiply it by 5. So just repeating that. So entirely my choice what I want to do with that variable. It's entirely my choice. Remember yesterday also, while we were calculating the sum of numbers and multiplication of numbers, we declared local variables. If you go to those programs, we also declared, see, we use total equals to 1, right or wrong? And we use that one inside the program only. You remember? Right? This total equals to 1 is what? Local variable here. Similarly, in the addition also we did. We take up a variable known as sum, if I'm correct. See here, again a local variable and used again inside the variable, inside again the function only. I hope it is clear now.
Yes, sir.
Now the person
Yes.
who is asking, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, so it's our requirement. Depending upon our requirement, we create variables because it was need of an hour. Means it would have become very much difficult if we don't declare this total equals to 1. It would have been difficult to compute this function. So we need some variable. So I declared a variable here, which is local to this function only. Similarly, in the sum function also, I declared a variable here. I hope it makes sense now. So moving ahead. Now, how to deal with this problem? So, although this is not a recommended method, what I am doing, but you should know. Suppose I want to declare a function inside a, I want to declare a variable inside a function, but at the same time, I want to make it a global variable. Okay, if we declare it normal way, then of course its scope is limited to that function only, and it will become a local variable. But I am declaring inside a function only now, but I want to make it a global variable. So how to deal with that? But again, I am repeating, it's not a recommended method. It's not a recommended method. Better function should have a local variables only. Okay, so how to deal with that is that again I'm using a function def. Suppose greet. Okay, same function. For now, I don't want any argument from the user. Now, earlier I declared like this: message equal to a. Okay, if I declare this way, again this is going to be a local variable. But if I want to make this variable to be global, just do one thing. Before using this, or before assigning it any value, just use a keyword global. Okay, and you can see whenever we type any keyword, it becomes green here. Okay? Just type global and the variable you want to make global, that is message. Okay, so what I want to make global, I want to make variable message to be global. So just type its name here. Once you do this, your task is completed. The task is done. Let me see, let me run it. Okay, done. This function has been created. Now let me try to print. What is the value of message? Earlier, remember, it was showing an error. Now check it. Again, some problem. What happened? Okay, fine. I didn't use this function. I've just declared it. I haven't used it. So let me call this function first. Okay. Let me call this function. I called this function, successfully called. Now try to print your message. Check it, please. Okay, if I won't call this function, how will it know? That's it. You have declared a function, you're not calling it. So how will this become? These instructions will be used only when we will call it. Right? So once we call it, now this is available. Anytime we want to use it, no issue. For example, again, I did print again message multiply by 5 and see. or 10, whatever you want to do. It's entirely your choice. Sorry. I hope it is clear to everyone, but I repeat, using this is not recommended method. Using this is not recommended method. Now, the scope of this variable is global. Anywhere you can use it, but you have to call it the function once. Once you call it, it is available everywhere in the entire program. Earlier, it was not available. Tell me, is it okay, everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you understand local variables and what are the global variables? Is it clear? Right?
Yes, sir.
And you also understand the scope of local variable and the global variables. Okay. So now I'm moving to one of my favorite topics, and you will be also find it favorite as well, because whenever you're going to study in data science, in almost every problem you will be having list only. Don't worry. Okay. So next our topic is data structures. Data structures. Okay. First of all, what is data structure and why we need this, right? For example, we use several programming languages like Python, C, C++, and they have different applications. For example, your Python can be used for web development. It can be used for data science. It can be used for game designing system. Anything it can be used. But mostly, they will be working on some kind of data. Okay, so management of that data is very important. Management of that data is very important. Means you should be able to collect your data, store it in an efficient manner. I'm repeating once again, you should be able to collect your data, store it in an efficient manner. Just storing is not good. Storing it in an efficient manner so that whenever you try to access that data, it comes quickly to you. If you're arranging it properly, of course, you will be able to get it quickly. For example, you came to your home. Okay, whenever we are shifting our home from one location to another location, at the beginning, what we bring every belongings to us from a different home to a new home. Later on, we organize everything. Okay, and sometimes gents normally don't remember, but if we ask our mama or our sister or anyone, any lady specifically, where is that thing in the new home, they will immediately tell this is available there because they have organized it. Okay, so this is the way, means organizing your data means collect it properly, then store it properly. Okay, store it properly so that when you want to access it, it should be available quickly to you. And all these things can be done with the help of data structures. Okay, all this thing will be done by data structures. Means I'm repeating once again, organizing, managing, and storing data is very, very important task. I'm repeating once again, organizing, managing, and storing data is a very important task, as it enables us easier access and efficient modification. I'm repeating once again, entire thing. Remember my words. Organizing, managing, and storing data is important as it enables us for easier access and efficient modification. Okay, and all this thing can be done by data structures. Means they allow, the data structure allow us to organize your data in such a manner that it enables you to store collection of data, relate them, and perform operations on them accordingly. Okay, means everything you're taking your data from somewhere. Okay, you collect your data somewhere, store it properly. Okay, properly collect your data, store it properly, relate them, means how these data are related to each other. And once you are sure I've stored them properly, I know what is the relationship between them properly, you can perform operations on them. I hope it is clear, and all these things can be done with the help of data structure. I hope it is clear what a data structure is, why it is important. Let me write it down if you are finding it difficult, so that you can remember data structures. Data structures allow one's data structure allow us, we can write us as well, or we can write allows one. Allows us, we can write allows us to to organize our data in such a manner that enables us to store collections of data, comma, relate them and perform operations on them accordingly. Okay, I'm repeating once again. For any programming language, data is very, very crucial thing. Very, very crucial thing, right? So if we arrange that data properly, if it is arranged properly, we are able to find out relationship among that data, then we are easily able to access that data, able to perform operations on that data. But if you are not sure where the data is stored, we didn't store it efficiently, we don't know what is the relationship between them, then how can we perform operation on them? Okay, so data structure will help us to store our data efficiently, to find out relationship between that data efficiently, and accordingly perform operations on that data. Means three things we are doing. We are storing our data efficiently. We are relating our data efficiently. We are performing operations on them efficiently. And all this is thing happening because of data structures. Means what it is doing? It is storing our data efficiently. Okay, relating our data efficiently. And once you are done with this, you can perform operations on them again efficiently. Any doubt in these 3 points? Please tell me. You can understand how important these are. And all this is possible because if we have proper data structures, if you have a proper structure of anything, and here we are talking about the structure of data, right? Very simple thing. For example, I'm teaching you about the internship of machine learning. Today, I teach you something. Okay. Next day, I teach you something different. It's no related thing. There is no relation between them. Other day, I'm teaching something. You'll say, what is this rubbish is happening? I'm not able to get anything. What sir is trying to deliver. But if I deliver in a proper sequence, I made a structure. Okay, I think people gave you also the structure how we are going to follow the curriculum, right? So if we don't follow, we made a structure how we will be delivering our content so that everything that's related to that. So we formed a structure of our internship program. That is very important for everything to work properly. Okay, so here we are concerned about the structure of data, store it efficiently, relate those data efficiently, perform operations on them efficiently. And all these things is possible if we organize our data structures properly. Is it okay, everyone?
Yes,
Please
sir.
tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now there are two kinds of data structures. Remember, there are, although we are bothered about one only, but no issue, which we should know. There are two types of data structures in Python. One, built-in data structures. Built-in data structure, and this is the one you will be needing. You will be needing for your data science or machine learning. This is the thing we will be needing. An example of them are, we have lists, we have tuples, we have sets, and we have dictionaries. Okay. These we are going to provide. These inbuilt in data structure, lists, tuples, sets, dictionary, and these are required for data science. And second one is your user defined data types, data structures, user defined data structures. I think many of you may have heard the names, but I'm going to type. Okay. Example, stack. Okay. Linked list. Queue. Tree. Graph. Hash map. Okay. I hope you get an idea. So there are two kinds of data structure that you can use. One is your built-in data structures, and second one is your user-defined data structures. I hope it is clear with everyone. Okay. So
Yes,
there,
sir.
one is your built-in, which are inbuilt available inside the Python, right? Lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries, and these things we require for data science and machine learning. If you want to go in different domain in which more of the Python programming is required rather than your data science and machine learning, then you need to learn these linked list, stack, and or everything like this. Only in that scenario you need that. Okay, so we are not concerned about that. We are concerned about the data science and machine learning field. So we'll be covering these things: lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. Okay, so I'll be moving ahead if the time permits. I'm not making a commitment. If the time permits, means by the time our internship will be over, if the time permits, then our day I will try to take, and I'll explain you in brief what are these. Okay, if the time permits. Let's see how much time we are left with that, because these are also very advanced topic, not a simple thing. I will say it will be covering in 5 minutes or 6 minutes or 7 minutes will come. No, nothing like that. Okay, people do research on all of these, even in research papers, or are lots of research papers are available there. No issue on that. Okay, so now moving to the first built-in data structures, that is your list. The first one. Now, what is the list? As we know, right? List is also a data structure, and what kind of data structure it is? It is a built-in data structure. Okay, sometimes we call it as a sequence as well. In many of the books, or many people call them as a sequence, because these are what? Nothing but a sequence of elements, like your string, like a tuple. Okay, these are sequence of elements. So how do we define a list? We define a list. It's a sequence, right? This way also, it is a sequence of objects of any type. Okay, it is a sequence of objects of any type, and we represent it by these square brackets. Okay, and remember what is written: sequence of objects of any type. I repeat, any type. Any type. It can be number. It can be. You must have heard the word array as well. Remember? Have you heard the word array?
Yes, sir.
Okay, array.
Yes, sir.
What is an array?
Yes.
Array is a collection of same data types, right? It's a collection of same data types, right? A list is can be having a collection of any type of data type. Example, let me create few lists. Let me create few lists for this. Okay. For example, I'm creating a list. Let's say, for example, X is a list. Okay. So it can have numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Acceptable. It can have strings inside this, like a or any a comma my comma Pravir, anything. Okay. It can have collection of these as well. For example, 1 comma a. Okay, any data type can come inside this. Not mandatory you will include only one type of data type. 1a. Both are different. Remember, I include a floating point number as well, 3.5. Even I can include one more list here, like 1 comma 2. Even I can include a tuple inside it, 3 comma 4. Tell me, is it clear? So it can have any type of object inside this. And everything is a sequence. This is sequence number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Very much like, because Python is a zero index language. Tell me any doubt in this, please, everyone. Let me make a different name. Let's use X, let's use Y, and this is Z. Is it okay, everyone? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it can have a collection of any type of data type, not mandatory numbers, not mandatory strings. Even you can have mixture of everything. It means it can consist of list as well inside a list. Okay, and how do we access them? The same way we access our strings, because Python is a zero index language. I repeat once again, Python is a zero index language. Let me run this, successfully run, executed. Okay, so let me do that. Let me access those elements and let's understand the things. Suppose, let me take this first of all. Okay, everyone knows how do we access strings? We put the string name. Now I'm taking the list name. Square bracket. Indexing is always done with the help of square bracket. Suppose I want to access first element. So how will I access? I will put index 0. Right? Let me run this. Is it fine? Same way we access strings. Same way you are using here. Again, X. Put. Let me put 1 here. I'll get 2. Okay. Similarly, let me put -1 here. Okay. See what is happening. Everything we were doing here, same way we can access our list. The same way you were accessing our strings, same way you can access your list as well. Is it okay, everyone? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Right? Now understand very important thing once again, once more. Suppose what I am doing, let me take one example. Let me take a list, zeros. Okay. And what my task is, I want a list of 5 zeros. I want a list of 5 zeros. Okay. So how I can do that? I can make a list type 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Like this. This is one way to do that. But if you ask me, I'm saying, please create a list of 1 lakh zeros. How will you do that? You will get mad. Typing it 1 lakh times 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You get mad. There is a shorter way. How can you do that? Okay. Not only 0, you can need anything. You can put anything inside. Just I have to put a sign of multiplication. Okay. And place the number of times you want this element. The number of times you want that element inside the list. For example, I'm putting 5. Okay. And after that, I'm printing my zeros. What this 0 will show? Print zeros. Let's see that. Is it okay, everyone? Fine. So instead of repeatingly 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1,000 times or 1 lakh times, just use that element inside your list, multiply it by the number of times you want to repeat it. Is it okay, everyone? Okay. Now suppose zeros is a list now. Everyone knows. Now suppose there is one more thing, one more list like letters. And it consists of elements like string letters only, A, comma, B, comma, C. Okay, this is one. And what I want to do, I want to combine these two lists. This is one list, this is one list, other list. I want to combine them. Okay, I want to combine them. Very simple way of doing that is, let me create a combined list. Combined. How can I do that? There are 2 strings. Okay. Suppose first I want these, then I want these. So what I have to do, simple operation of concatenation. Type zeros, concatenation operation, letters. And let's see, print combine. Let's check. Is it fine, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Great,
Sir.
great. Now one more thing. Suppose somebody asked me to generate, please do one thing. Generate numbers from, let's say, 0 to 100 and place them inside a list. Okay, it may be a requirement. You never know. It may be a requirement that to generate numbers from 0 to 99 or 0 to 100 and place them inside a list. So one way to do that is my numbers is, again, I created a list 0, comma 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5, and so on till 100, right? I can do that. No issue with that. It's not efficient way. So we have a savior error. Remember, do you remember any function which can generate numbers from 0 to 100? Any number?
Range.
Yes, very good. There is a function known as range. So what we can do, there is a function known as list first of all. Okay. There's a function called a list here available. So what you have to do, you have to put a iterable inside this, and range is a iterable. Remember, we can put a loop on the range function. We did a loop on for loop on the range function, right? So you can put any iterable here. For example, what I am doing for now, I'm typing inside range, and inside range, I'm typing 101 because 101, if we'll type, it will take the numbers from 0 to 100. Because 1 less than that, let me do that and print my numbers. Okay, let me do that. Can you please check it out? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Crystal clear it should be. It's very simple thing.
Sir, can we start from 1?
Yeah, you can do that. Remember the function of range? You should just know what is the argument of range. You can do that. For example, I can put starting index. If you don't remember, it was optional. Ending thing was mandatory. We can have 3 arguments. There were 3 arguments: start, end, and step. End is mandatory. You can skip starting. If you will skip starting, it will take from 0. But if you want to start from, want to put 1, put it. No issue with that. It will take from 1 only. Now it will start from 1 to 100. Run this. Please check it. Range had 3 arguments. If you, I think you forgot. It has 3 arguments: start, end, and step. And which was mandatory? Middle one, that is end. And you necessarily need to put on. You can skip start. You can skip step. Is it okay? So any number range you want, you can do that. Is it fine? Similarly, now suppose I need alphabets. Okay, alphabets or characters, whatever you want to put. It's up to me. Characters. Okay. Again, I'm using the same function, but this time, what I want, I have to just 100% sure that I have to put iterables inside this. And remember, there is one more thing. This time we are character. Suppose I'm putting inside one iterable known as string, that is 5. Is it fine? Okay. So what it will do? What it will do? It will. This is iterable, right? And remember, whenever we are talking about iterable, we can access every element of that iterable. Remember, we were able to put a loop on this for loop. Remember anyone or not?
Yes, sir.
Right? So it is
Yes, sir.
iterable. So what it will do? It will iterate. It will get every individual element of this. It will get every individual element of this. Means P separate, Y separate, T separate, S separate, O separate, N separate, and put them inside the list known as characters. Okay. So let me print characters inside this. Please check. Individual elements means individual characters have been put as the element of that list. You can put any iterable here. Tell me, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now let's take this list. And the list name is Z. So I'm printing Z here again. Okay. This is my Z. Suppose I need to access this. First of all, let me access this element. Let me access this element. At what index it is? Can anybody tell me?
3.
Yes.
3.
3. Okay, fine. Perfectly fine. Now see, I put 3 here. I'm able to get it. Now suppose I want to access this element. Okay, this is considered as one element of the list. So I access that by the 3. Now suppose I want to access this element. Okay, so this is list inside the list, right? List inside the list. So once I reach here, I am getting a list 1, 2, right? Now let me do one thing. Let me store it. You will understand that better way. I'm taking a variable a equals to z3. So a will be having 1, 2. Okay, so I have this element now 1, 2. Now suppose if I'm saying I want to access this value, can we do that or not now? We know a is a
Yes,
list,
sir.
right? We can do that. How? What need to be put here?
A1.
One.
Zero, sir. A01.
Not 0, 1. For 2. For 2. I want to
One.
access 2. I want to access 2.
One.
Right? I want to put 1.
Of one.
Right? Agreed or not? Please tell me. See, so similarly, instead of that doing that thing in 2 tasks, 2 steps, what we can do, this will give me, everyone knows what it will return. It will return a list that is 1, 2. It will return 1, 2. Now from this 1, 2, I want to access 2. And 2's index will be among this 1, 2 will be 1. So I can put here 1 here. And let me see. Please check it. How I hope you get an idea properly.
Yes, sir.
Everyone,
Yes,
please.
sir. Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Intentionally, I explained in 2 steps so that you can understand things better. Okay. Now tell me. Now everyone will be able to tell. I want to access this element. How will I do that? This element.
Z40.
Z first 4, then 0. Let me check that. Perfect. I hope you get a proper idea now. Right? And we can, once they are returning some value, whenever something will be returned, it will be shown here. So we can store anywhere. Suppose I'm storing them in a variable known as Q. Okay. Run that and we want to check what is Q is having and Q. So we can use it anywhere we want. We can use it anywhere in any calculation we want. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great. Just good. So now move ahead. Now we were taking individual elements. Okay. Now suppose instead of that, what we want to do, slicing we will do later on, but see one more thing. What is my list? My list Z is 1A 3.5 1 2 3 4. Okay. Suppose I want to replace this item. I want to replace this item. What is this item? This item is at index 0 1 2 3 4. Okay. So what I can do 0 1 2 3 4. What I can do Z of 4 equals to Z of 4 equals to whatever I want to put instead of this 3 and 4. Whatever, suppose I want to put my name. Remember, assignment is coming, which were not possible in the string. Remember, everyone, strings were immutable. Did anyone recall? String is iterable, but immutable, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
it is possible here. Let me do Z4 equals to Pravir. Okay. And let's check Z again. What will happen? See, this thing is gone. And this thing means this was the index 4th. Pravir has been replaced there. That means lists are mutable or immutable. Lists are mutable. Yes, mutable means any object which after a creation can be modified is known as mutable, and it can be modified. We can see that. That was not possible with the strings. It was not possible with the strings, right? So this is the beauty of that. And remember this thing I was doing yesterday as well when I was using this system file. Remember, I was removing, I was inserting. Remember, I was doing that. I insert element, I even append element. And that why I was able to do that because it was a list. It was a list, right? So I was able to do that. That's why it is happening. Suppose now I want to replace A by something else. Let's say A by B or A by a number. How can we do that? Please tell me.
Z of 1.
Yes,
Z of 1 is equals to
anything you want to put. Suppose I want to put 4. Okay, let me take 4. Let me check again. What is the value of Z? Yes, A has been replaced by 4. I hope it is okay with everyone.
yes, sir. Sir, actually, I had a doubt.
Yeah.
It is not taught by you yet, but is string is considered as tuple?
No, actually, tuple is a different thing. And
Yeah.
list, yeah, tuple is
In how
entirely, actually, these are immutable. Immutable means is that tuple is a different, I told right here itself. Can you see that? Tuple is a different data type altogether. Tuple is a different data types altogether. How a tuple is, I'll come to that after list. Let me show you what is a tuple. Let me show. Suppose somebody asks me, first of all, how the lists are created. Lists are created with the help of quotes. Remember that thing, right? Single or double or triple. We will always create this. Suppose I write preference. Okay, this is a string. Fine. This is a string because it is mentioned inside the code. But what is a tuple? Tuple is something created always in these round brackets. Tuple is always created in this round brackets, and it can have again any data type you want. Any data type you want. Any data type. For example, I mentioned 3. I mentioned A. I mentioned suppose again a list inside that 1, 2, something like that. Let me run this. Okay. See, this is a tuple having a collection of different type of data types available. 1, 2, 3, but not, this is not the case with the strings, right? And we can access them. We can access them, but we cannot use this assignment operator. We cannot modify it once it is changed. For example, I want to access first element of the tuple. I can do that. I put T0, it will give me 3. Perfectly fine. But the moment I try to change it, like T0 is equal to, let's say 1. Okay. Will it be possible? It will throw an error. It will immediately throw an error. Please check it. Tuple object does not support item assignment. Right? Same is the case with the string. For example, if I try to do the same thing with the string as well, let S bracket 0, okay, equals to a character, let's say A. Let me do that. Again, same problem will be shoot out. A string object does not support item assignment. Can you see that? Both
Yes,
are
sir.
showing same message. Means both are immutable. Both comes under the same category of immutable. Is it fine? Both are different. Both are not same. Remember that thing. Both are immutable. That's for sure. They comes under the category of immutable data types. Is it fine?
Yes, sir. Sir, so can we modify the list given in that tuple?
Yeah.
That is
List? No, you cannot do anything. Once it
okay.
is inside the this, you cannot do anything. You cannot, because it is inside the tuple. You will not be able, because this is not possible now. This, how could you change? You could only change if this operation is supported.
Okay,
Right?
sir. Got it.
If this operation could have supported, like it was supported here. If we go here, see, it is supported in the list. We replace, remember, Z4 means this tuple we replaced by Praveer because this assignment operator was supported. But if I try to do that, it's not possible. Let me show you that. Don't worry. Let me create one more cell here and let me do T and write the index 0, 1, 2. And let you try to put anything you want. Suppose instead of 1, 2, I want to put 3, 4. Okay, let me run it. See, not possible. Why? Because it does not support item assignment, because they all come under the category of immutable data type. Means the objects which after creation cannot be modified. And why it is required? Whenever we require secure system, whenever we want secure system means once things created, nobody is able to change them. In that case, what do you require? You require your immutable data types. In that case, your list will come into the picture. For example, you are saving some passwords, right? You are saving the password of someone's and somebody changed it. So it may be an interview question. You are asked to create a data structure okay, which will be storing your passwords. Which will be storing your passwords. You need to secure it. Which data type or which data structure you will use, either list or your tuple. So your answer will be
Tuple.
yes.
Tuple.
Reason why? Because list anybody can
We
change, right?
cannot
Modified.
modify.
Yeah. List anybody can be changed. Is it fine or not? Anybody could
Yeah.
change. So that's not possible. Any doubt button now further? Please tell me.
No, sir. Thank you.
Is it clear? Crystal clear with everything? No doubt
Yes,
is there? That's good. Perfect. You read it somewhere, list are strings. Strings are tuple. Who is asking the question?
Sir, me.
Your name?
Sir, Digambar Patil.
But did you read anywhere something like this? Strings are tuples or tuples are strings?
No, sir. Not.
Okay. Okay, no issue. Fine, perfect. Now, same way, beta, what is happening is that both are different, remember, but both belong to same category of immutable. Is it fine? Remember that. Now, coming to here, same way you can do the list slicing. The way you did in the strings. Same way you can create the list slicing. Slicing means fetching some portion of the list. Okay. Suppose I want to access print. Anything you want to access. Suppose, and what is the syntax of that list slicing? Your list name, whatever your list name is. For example, my list name here is Z. Your start index. Okay, start index, colon stop index, colon step. Same thing everywhere. Same thing everywhere. Okay, exactly the same way you did inside your string. So I'm copying it so that you can understand the concept here. So suppose I'm putting here start index to be anything I want. Suppose I want to put 0. And I want to go till second index. So when I want to go to the second index, what I will type here in the stop index? Everyone knows. What should I do? I want to go till second index element, means second element, 0, 1, and 2. So what should I
stop
put?
index will be 1.
No. Listen what I'm saying. I need element 0, 1, and 2. Now what should I type at the stop index?
3.
Yes,
Yeah.
perfectly fine. Right, 3. Because it always takes 1 less than that. Because it's starting from 0. That is the main reason. So I'll put 3 here. This is again not mandatory. If you don't put it, by default, it will take it as step to be 1. Okay, you can skip that. It's entirely up to you. For example, I'm skipping that for now and printing. I'll get my 3 elements, 0, 1, and 2. Very much like this. And same way, if I want to print Z square bracket, okay, I didn't put any start index. I just put 3. What I will get?
Same.
Exactly, because by default it will start from 0 only, right? Similarly, I didn't put here anything and I put 0 here. Then what it will give me?
So total list.
Yes, entire list from beginning to end, right? Similarly, if I even don't supply it, then
Also same, sir.
yes, same, because automatically it will take starting and ending. Okay, it is clear with everyone. Now suppose what I did, colon, I put one more colon and I put 2. Now what it will give?
Alternate elements.
Yes, alternate elements. Very good. Okay. Similarly, if I put colon and -1, fine. What it will give? Remember, minus means
Sir, reverse string.
yes, reverse. So it will reverse everything. It will reverse everything. Can you see that? Our original was this 1, 4, 3.5, 1, 2 Praveer. Now it reversed. First element becomes Praveer. Next element becomes 1, 2. third elements become this 3.5, then 4, and then 1. Okay, so sometimes they ask you the question. Remember, sometimes they will ask you the question. Don't use the built-in function or built-in method of the list. Reverse the elements of the list. So how can you do that? But just use a simple syntax. That's it. I hope it is clear with everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you must be finding it easy because you have already studied list, right? Almost same. Now moving ahead. Okay, let me create few more cells. Okay. Now we are moving to list unpack. And why do we unpack? When we want to take some elements from somewhere. So understand that what it will do. Suppose we have a list, a simple list I'm creating. Let's say number. And it is having 3 elements, comma 1, comma 2, comma 3. This is the thing. Okay. Now suppose I need 3 variables. I need 3 variables, and in one variable I want to assign the value of first element. In second I want to assign second element. In third I want to assign third element. So how can we do that? There are 2 ways of doing that. One, I said that variable is a, so I did that number index of 0, right? Then second variable, let's say b, number of 1. Third variable, let's see, index of 2. Okay, so first index element is assigned to a, second index element is assigned to b, third index element is assigned to c. Perfectly fine, no issue with that. Other way of doing that, which is exactly same. I can type this way: a, comma b, comma c equals to number. That's it. A, comma b, comma c equals to number. Automatically it will assign the value of a, means it's 0th index to a, 1st index to b, and third index to c. Let me run this. And it is available. If you want to check, you can check any element. Suppose I want to print a, comma b, comma c. Okay, I want to print that. You can see a is 1, b is 2, c is 3. Okay, this is list unpacking, but understand one more thing. If I try to do one thing, suppose instead of this, I'm trying to do this thing. Let me remove it. It will immediately throw me an error. Let's see. Why? Because how much elements number is having? Number is having 3 elements, and here you are providing just right or wrong. Right? If you're providing the same number of variables here, which are available inside the number, then you can easily do that. Is it okay, everyone? Why it is throwing an error? Because we have to put 3 elements, because it inside the list we have 3 elements, but we are providing 2. That's why it throw an error. But there is an option. There is a very good option. Okay, how to deal with that? Suppose now we are having only 3 elements. It may be possible that you are having 1000 elements, and you need just 1, 2, 3 elements of the list, starting 1, 2, and 3. Example, you don't bother about others, but you need a starting element and the last element, middle will you don't want. So we need to have some mechanism for the same. We need to have some mechanism so that we can access only the elements we want. So how can we do that? Let me create a wrong list so that you can understand better. Suppose I'm creating a list again, numbers rather, and it is having lots of element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. I'm just bothered about starting 2 numbers. I'm not bothered about the rest numbers. So one way of dealing with that is very easy. Very, very easy. Everyone knows. I can use UA, numbers, okay, an index of 0 to be A. Similarly, B equal to numbers, index of 1. This will solve my problem if I'm concerned about that thing. Okay. But there is another way of dealing with that. So let me run this and see how can we do that. I'm using my first element. Let's say that's the first variable is A. Second variable is name is second. Now I'm not bothered about the others. I need just first element and the second element. Okay, but I want to assign them in this way. ABC is equal to number. Okay, so what I have to do after this comma, put a star, and suppose I'm typing others. or other, whatever name you want to give, it's entirely your choice. First, second, and other. So what it will do, it will assign first element of the list to first, second of the element to the second, and after remaining whatever element this is, it will create a list of those, and those will be assigned to the variable others. Let me show you that. Numbers. Okay, I'm running it. Let me print first, then let me print, sorry, first, then let me print second, and then let me print others. Okay. So let me run this. Please check it. What is first? First is your number 1. I get 1. What is second? My second is second. And what is others? Others is nothing but a list of remaining numbers which are available here. Tell me, is it fine, everyone? Please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, suppose I am bothered about first and last number. I'm not about what is midway. I'm not bothered about what is midway. Again, I do have an option. If it is a list, I can access first element by 0th index, last element by -1 index. Directly I can access that, but I don't want, I want this way. Okay, I'm telling you all these methods because in some critical programs, you may find this kind of expression. You may get confused. What is this happening? We never saw this kind of expression or behavior like this. Okay, so you never know what programmer is preferring. You may have to work with the code of other people as well. So you should know what is happening here. Okay, so suppose I need, I'm copying it again. Okay, this time I need last number, first and last number. Middle I don't bother. So just do one thing, same thing. Put a star and whatever name you want to give. I would others. And same way, first, others, last. So what it will do, the first element will be assigned to your first variable, last element will be assigned to your last variable, and middle elements, whatever left out after first and last, middle, all these means this is a list. So this 1 will be assigned to first, 10 will be assigned to last, and middle one means 2 to 9 will be created a list, and that will be assigned to others. Let me run that and let's check it. So I'm doing again. Check it out. Please check it. Oh, sorry, I printed the same thing. The name is first, what I mentioned, 1 first, I want last, and I want others. Okay, please check it. What is first element? First is 1, as expected. Last, what is last? 10, as expected. And what are the others? Between numbers between these two as a list. So 2 to 9. Is it fine, everyone? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So any number of elements you can have. For example, I want first and last 2 numbers. Can I do that or not? Please tell me. First and last 2 numbers. First and last 2.
Yes.
How? Please tell me how. Same way. First. Okay. I'm not about bothered about midway, so I'm typing star others. Then second last, whatever name you want to give, it's up to you. And then last. That's it. Equal to numbers. That's it. As many variables you want to access, you can access because you have the power of this others. Okay. So let me run this and you can check it out. Perfectly executed. So let me copy it. And first, let me print type here second last. Okay. Then last and then others. Please check it. See, first element is 1. Perfect. Second last element is 9. Yes, it is. Last element is 10. Yes, it is. And rest, that is 2 to 8, are packed inside the list. Okay, so you can access as many elements you want. You know the power of star. And not mandatory, I'm using again others and others. You can put any name you want. You can put any name you want. For example, I type instead of others, I type my name. Doesn't matter at all. Others just to indicate not for me. That's it. I can mention my name here. Okay, you can run this and you can check what is the value of Praveer here. See, same thing, same it was written. So you can have anything you want. Any doubt, please?
Hello, sir.
No, sir.
Great.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Sir, actually, in the last portion you have mentioned that if we print first, then second last, then last, then others, so it will give the result 1, 9, 10. Then the number list is basically present inside others. Okay.
Yeah.
Now my question is that if I if I change the sequence like print, then
And then
first,
doesn't print doesn't matter where print in the print, whatever the way you want, it will print same value. Doesn't matter. Don't worry.
okay, means others
Doesn't
can be
matter.
others
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be placed any position.
Yes, let me play it as first position. Doesn't matter. Let me do one thing. It doesn't matter. The printing is a passive thing. Printing is a passive. Whatever you will say, it will do that. Printing, we are telling first, give me the value of first variable, then second, then third, then it is not a smart thing. It is just printing whatever we are saying. So let me print others here. Okay. Let me print last here. It's entirely my choice, whatever I want to do. Fine. This is, you wanted to know, na? Right or wrong?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, check it. Again, same thing or not. Others is always having the remaining elements. So first time we are seeking the others. Then last element is, I guess, 10. Yes, it is 10 here. So 10 is coming. Then we have used the first element, and the first element is number 1. So 1 is coming, and what is second last element? 9. So 9 is coming. Is it fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So whatever we want to, in which order we want, we can put that in the print district. It's entirely our and what we want to see first. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah, please.
sir, can we access the middle numbers, some middle, first, middle, and last?
What one? No, that is a
Middle number,
different.
any
Yeah,
middle,
actually,
five.
that directly we can't do that, but we can do that. That's not a problem. How? Let me tell you that. Let me tell you that. Remember, there is a function known as len function. There's a function known as len function. Remember or not? In the string, there was a function known as len, which used to
Yes, sir.
tell me how many elements are there in the string. Same len function works with your list as well. Okay. So what is my list? My list name is numbers. So let me put numbers inside this. Sorry. Numbers. I'm putting numbers inside this. Okay. Numbers inside this. Let me run this. Sorry, numbers, not string. It will become a string then. Remove. It's a list. So list. Let me type it. How many characters are there? 10. Right?
Yes, sir.
How many characters are there? Now see. At which position the middle character will come or middle number will come?
Fifth, around.
Fifth position. I think fifth.
Yes.
0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then fifth is the middle one.
Yes, sir.
Right or wrong? So I can access that. How? It's up to me. How? Numbers. Fifth element. See. So let
Sir,
me
I'm not saying like this.
then.
Sir, in the same way we are doing this. First, we are printing first, others, last.
Huh?
Can we?
No, actually directly we cannot do because we are using others at one's position. Right? Let me try. Let me do one thing. Let me check one thing. Others. Then we should know the index of that. Actually, that will be the problem where we are putting it. Actually, in the first, it works easily. We are starting giving first number. It searches that. Okay, after first. Then we put last element. Okay, it said at the last, we have last element. Whatever is that in between, I will gap them in the others. So from last, I tell them something, everything. So if we can access that way, because it understands how, it understands from the beginning. It understands from the beginning how you put them. Right? Suppose I put others here and put only one number. Only one number at the last. See this way. if I put numbers like star others, okay, comma, last, okay, and numbers. Then now see, if I check last, it will be last for sure. And if I check others, it is giving me the number from 1 to 9. So how it is recognizing means if you are putting it before others, understand that thing. If you are putting before others, starting that, then consider that it is starting from this position. Okay. If you are putting after the others, it understand that it's putting, you are considering the last position. So how you can arrive at the beginning, how the others will come to know that it is the middle one. Are you getting my point or not? Okay. So this is the way others understand. Others can leave your last element, other can leave your first element, or midway something 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. Then it is possible. If you know there's a last sequence, it will be very much difficult for you to exactly arrive at that position. But smartly you can, yeah, please. But smartly, if you try some methods, definitely you will be able to achieve that. But not, at least not by directly using stars and others. Directly using, yeah, please.
Sir, can we use star others 2 times in the same way?
No, no, no. It will not work. So let me show you that. Let me run this. See.
Okay, sir.
No, not otherwise it would have been done very easily, right? How will it come to know actually? How will it come to know what is the position of this? Right? How will it come to know? They have not defined others like this. Means this star operator like this. They haven't defined this way. How will it guess which element you are talking about? Is it first element or second element or third element or fourth element or sixth element? This is not possible. That's why only one others is possible. And because one others is possible, you can understand yourself. Directly getting middle is not possible. Is it fine, Harris?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Directly you can't access it, but some other ways you can access it. That example we did this way. Because only one others is possible. Other more than one others is not possible.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Sir, this others is a list actually.
Yeah, others is a list. Others is a list. It will
So
pack them
can
in a
we-
list.
Yes, sir. Sir, if can we access, for example, if we give a particular order to this
Pardon?
others value?
In others, anything you can do. It's a list now. Now you can do anything you want. Let me coming to that only.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Others is a list now, na? Right? This is the list. For
Yes,
example, you can access it same way like others. 0. It will return 1. Right?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Same way. Once it is a list, it's in your hand. Whatever you want to do with the list, do it. You can
Okay.
access that. You can slice this. You can dice it. Everything you can do it. No problem with that. Once it is a list. So others is itself a list. You can do whatever you want to do with the list. You can add all the elements of that list as well. Entirely up to you. Okay. Now see. We already, although we have studied that, let's looping over the list. Because once it is inside the list, you can do whatever you want to do. Looping over the list. Because list is an iterable, remember? For example, I created a list, any list, suppose my list, the name is my, okay. And the list, I'm putting some elements 1, comma, A, comma, let's say C, something like that. Okay. Sorry, A, comma, and C. Okay. And what I want to loop over these elements. I want to loop over them the same way we were looping, because list is an iterable. Okay, every element of this can be accessed individually, and once it can be accessed individually, here comes the for loop. Okay, because anything, if it is iterable, here comes the for loop. So what I can do, I can type for whatever name you want to give here, loop variable, whatever name. For example, I said list element. The name small element is list element. For the list element in my, because my list name is my. Suppose I want to print them. I want to access them. Whatever I want, print my. Okay. So what it will do? It will first print 1, then A, and then C. Wait a second, what happened? Sorry, print my I did. I should print list element. Yeah, please check it. Because what will happen in the first iteration? In first iteration, list element will be having the value 1. So that will be printed. In second iteration, list element will be having the value A. So A will be printed. In third iteration, list element will be having the value C. That will be printed. I hope it is okay with everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now a task, a small task immediately. I have a list known as numbers. And trust me, if you are giving some Python test, you will find this question for sure. Trust me, anywhere you are giving this question, test on the Python, you will find this question. There are some numbers like 3, 4, 5, 6. Add all the elements of the list and give the result. Add all the elements of the list and give the result. Can you do that? Add all the elements of the list and give the result. Please tell me, can you do that or not?
Trying.
Yeah, please give a try. It's very easy. It's very
Yes,
easy.
sir, we can do.
Yes, please, please. I think Amulya is saying, right? Please try. I'm waiting. Actually, I received a message from few of the students. They are having examinations in their college. So they are not able to attend.
Yes, sir.
I'm waiting, right?
Sir, for some of the elements, no?
Yeah, all the sum, the result should be sum of all the elements.
Yes, sir.
So
Done?
we can use the same for loop.
Yes, it will be
Yes,
done
sir.
with the help of for
Because
loop only. Yes,
it
it will be
was
done.
Yes, sir, by using
Yes,
for
sir.
loop we can do this.
to 0 first, and then sum is equals to sum plus list element.
Good. So let me try. This is the numbers. Okay. So what I did,
Sir, sum is equals to 0.
yeah, sum equals to 0.
Zero.
It's very much like we did the sum last day. Remember for the tuple? Remember anything or not?
Yes, sir.
It's very much like the same. Very much like same. For we can say element. Any name you can give in numbers. What should I do? I should do
Sum
sum
is
equals
equal
to sum
sum
plus
element.
element. After that, what should I do?
Sir, print sum.
Here,
But
here itself, no, not in the
outside
7,
the-
outside the for loop. Print sum. Okay, so I'm typing it here. 5, 3 and 4 are 7, 7 and 5 are 12, 12 and 6 are 18. Is it fine, everyone? Please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's very, very easy, right? This is actually the smartness. Once things come inside an iterable, right? You should be happy. Okay, now things are under my control. Now I can do whatever I want. Okay, so whenever some data is assigned to me, now whenever some clients come to me, they give me some work to do. What I try to do, I try to bring it inside my domain. Means let me bring it inside my domain so that in which I am comfortable. Once it comes under my territory, right? Now I can do anything with it. So I try always, I get a data in different format. So my first task is to bring in the format which I am comfortable with. Then I used to work on the same. It becomes very easy. Later on, the way I've converted it, I converted it back and the client is happy and I'm happy. It's actually expertise is entirely yours, how you find it comfortable. And you can do that because writing a program is just an art. Anybody can write program in different manners, right? Same program can be written in a different way. I hope the class was meaningful for everyone.
Yes, sir. Very meaningful.
That's great.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
That is basically not regarding list, means whatever you have taught today.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to know that, sir, actually, when actually you taught function, so that
Mhm.
time you have mentioned a very important function, and you told that you will discuss in class. So that was basically init function, INIT.
No, don't worry. I'll come to that. That is
Okay,
actually
okay, sir.
that is actually that init function will study when we will studying the object-oriented programming concepts. I remember that very
Okay,
well.
okay, okay, sir.
That will come under the object-oriented programming concepts. I'll tell you that. Don't worry. And I think within 3 to 4 sessions only we will be there. Not more than that.
Okay, sir.
Soon we will be. I think by tomorrow we will be over by list and tuples. Then dictionaries will be next day, and then you're at that exception handling. And after exception handling, we will go to the OOPS concepts only. Don't worry. I'll tell you there. I'll tell you there. Don't. I remember very well. I remember
Okay,
very
sir,
well.
okay, sir.
Don't
Thank you,
worry.
sir.
Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone. So I'm ending it for the day. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Please,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
keep practicing. That's the main thing.